Good morning and welcome. It is Kareem and Ibrahim from channel 5200.9.0.
What's up?
Hello. Yes, today we are going to talk about the movie Into the Wild. And we can start by introducing it. Into the Wild is an American survival film from 2007, written and directed by Sean Penn. It is an adaptation of John Krakauer's non-fiction book from 1996 of the same name.
And it's based on the travels of Christopher McCandless across North America and his life spent in the Alaskan wilderness in the early 90s. Well, what impressions did the movie make on you, Kareem?
Well, the impressions that I got throughout the movie were very diverse. I got the impression that I could understand the struggles Chris has been through. In the movie, we saw short clips of his parents, how they never were there for him, and how his father used violence against the mother, and Chris did never experience being a kid. Therefore, I sense an impression telling us the fact that his childhood was a roller coaster with violence, lack of safety, and care from the parents. He never felt his parents were there for him, and therefore he wants to get away from them because he may have a sense telling him the fact that they never help him, so why should he stay? The parents cannot expect him to stay and follow their orders when they never were there for him. So yeah, Ibrahim, can you please give me some impressions you got from the movie?
Yes. Well, I would like to start by things that I first of all think it was a very interesting film with some not least as interesting characters and plots. And as you said, Kareem, I can also understand some of the things that Christopher McCandless, or should we call him Alexander Supertramp, do against his family in the movie. He's very angry with his parents, so by leaving them and prioritizing nature, he takes revenge from them. And this movie made me actually think of many things about nature. The impression the movie made on me was that I think it's crazy and insane how big a role nature has and how little we actually appreciate it. I think that we've very quickly forgotten the value and essence of nature precisely because we ourselves are not out milking cows and etc. There's always some others who do the dirty work for us.
So yeah, Ibrahim, can you also characterize Alex/Christopher for me, or for us?
Yes, well, the main character, Christopher McCandless, is a young, intelligent, and well-educated man that has grew up in a very wealthy suburb of Washington, D.C. He graduates from Emory University with honors, and after graduating university, he donates all of his savings to charity and starts living the life of Supertramp, Alexander Supertramp. It was a major part of a McCandless' life to connect with nature and let him into the wilderness, which he believed would help him to learn his place in the world, find himself, and discover the truth of mankind. Nature is like a way for McCandless to find meaning in life.
Yeah, he showed as a very independent person in the movie as he left his home and family and all the options he had. It's easy for him to build new friendships in his life, and everybody he meets seems to like him. For example, Jan and Bob, who picks him up when he's looking for berries, and he becomes very close with them, or Wayne, who also becomes close to him and gives him a job. He also meets an 80-year-old man called Ronald France, who gives him a free ride from Salton City, California to Grand Junction, Colorado. And of course, he also gets very close with Ronald, and he even writes a letter to him.
Hey, why don't we make an analysis of this letter?
Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, usually you only send letters to those you love because you have to devote a lot of time to sit and write it. And that is also why Christopher McCandless sends a letter to Ron instead of calling him, exactly because he wants Ron to know that that he values their friendship.
It can be seen in the letter that the sender and receiver have not known each other for a very long time. Therefore, the sender may not be credible for Ron, who is the receiver of the letter. Actually, this is also mentioned in the letter when Christopher talks about the differences between him and Ronald's friends.
But for some reason incomprehensible to me, you wanted nothing but to bolt for home as quickly as possible, right back to the same situation which you see day after day after day. I fear you will follow this same inclination in the future.
You are wrong if you think joy emanates only or principally from human relationships. God has placed it all around us.
Christopher also tries to win Ron's sympathy in the letter by thanking him for all his help and for all the good time they spent together.
Ron, I really enjoy all the help you've given me and the times that we spent together.
We can also see that there are some indications in the letter about the character of the receiver. Ron is an old, lonely person, and Christopher shows his worry for Ron's situation.
I hope that you will not be too depressed by our departing. It may be a very long time before we see each other again.
In general, we can say that the sender, Christopher McCandless, becomes credible because of his way of introducing his arguments and points. He does this by writing in a persuading language and by functioning sympathetic.
Kareem, what about the themes in this movie? Will you please comment on the themes?
There's the movie has three major themes, which is freedom, man versus nature, and family. First of all, freedom. Christopher McCandless described what he's looking for on his journey as ultimate freedom. He wants to be totally free and does not want to follow anyone's rules.
We don't know for sure, but one of the main reasons for why he left his family is probably because his dad had authority over him, which is something Christopher didn't like at all. He didn't want to be controlled by others, and he didn't like when people told him what to do. He believed that ultimate freedom requires total isolation, so that you don't have obligations or responsibilities to others.
Yeah, we also have the theme man versus nature. While Chris was traveling, he had to deal with storms, floods, and many other natural preventions. He had to fight with nature to survive. And the end of this fight against nature, nature wins. And also the last theme, which is family. The father-son relationship is also an important theme in the movie. One of the indirect reasons as to why Chris fled from his family is revealed late in the movie. Chris has, as a child, experienced his father being violent towards his mother. Therefore, he and his father have always had a rocky relationship. The old man in the letter and in the end of the movie, Ronald France, becomes the new father figure to Chris and even offered legally to adopt him. Chris has to move on from him, though, because of the reason that ultimate freedom requires no dependence on others.
Christopher McCandless has a very romantic view on nature, and therefore it's not very hard to feel that he's very influenced by romantic poets and their works. We can relate the film to the poem Tables Turn, written by the English poet William Wordsworth, especially known for his romantic poems and descriptions about nature. In the new modern world, William Wordsworth wants us to take refuge and seek consolation and inspiration in the nature. In the poem, the speaker is telling that nature has more to teach than books. He wants nature to be our teacher.
Enough of science and of art. Close up those barren leaves, comfort, and bring with you a heart that watches and receives. Book, 'tis a dull and endless strife. Come, hear the woodland linnet. How sweet his music! On my life, there's more of wisdom in it. In the third stanza, the poet established a contrast by saying that books are something which are dull, and are like prolonged duty to keep reading them and try and understand what is written in it. Rather than reading, he should venture outside to where the linnet, which is a small finch, and the thrushes, which is a songbird, are singing beautiful music containing more wisdom than any book. But the nature teaches lessons with passion and with much more love, and gives more knowledge than the books could provide.
The poet uses poetic devices as rhymes and personifications to come out with this message. Personification is used when nature is personified as a person who knows a lot, and someone that could be the ideal teacher to teach about life. The rhyming scheme is AB, and it can be seen very clearly throughout the poem. For example, in stanza 3.
Books, 'tis a dull and endless strife. Come, hear the woodland linnet, how sweet his music. On my life, there's more of wisdom in it. And hark, how blithe the throstle sings. He, too, is no mean preacher. Come forth into the light of things.
The main message with this poem is that Wordsworth wants us to go out and see how beautiful the nature is. Nature is the true home for everybody. With all these thoughts, Christopher McCandless decided to go out and live in the wild. Who knows, maybe this romantic poem has played an important role in his decision.